Mandy Rose, California Association of Recycling Market Development Zones. Give her a round of applause. They sponsored our lunch today.
Leslie wrote the check. She said,
I have the check to prove it. No, I'm
yeah, the check. Okay, I could start by saying what they all said, but and that's almost true. I would say that when I heard the first group, even though, Jerry, you had the comment, did you have more time, I think that maybe they just expressed it a little differently, but I think they went through a lot of what we had talked about. One of the first things we had talked about is, the whole concept of rethinking waste, discards are commodities and getting that, and it speaks to the issue of education and changing the perceptions about making it convenient, buying locally, and what tools do we have in place to do some of these things now. Again, we talked about CalMax, Buy Recycle, the Buy Recycle database that's on the CalRecycle website right now. How many people know about that? Could CalMax be expanded to be more industry oriented so that different businesses know what's available in terms of feedstock? And I know that as part of the Recycling Market Development Zone program, we're supposed to be able to know that, but industry isn't always as willing to talk to government as they may be to talk to each other. So that could be one part that could help all of us out here. Incentives, policies, I think this has been said before, but really emphasized in our group, particularly by Jerry, was enforce the rules we have now. Right now, state government says you're supposed to buy a certain percentage of recycled content, but it's just not happening. It's not happening in schools. It's not happening, at the state level. It's certainly not happening in my county. I can't even tell you how frustrating it is in my own office when I see someone come in without recycled content paper. I escort it out the door. But the fact that it even happens is just, tells you in this day and age how frustrating it is to get those things done. Again, we talked about education was brought up several times. How do you get the word out, not just to the consumer, but within the industry? And how do you get infrastructure here and changing the perceptions? And one of the things I brought up initially was, do we need like a PSA campaign that talks about recycled content and how it's just as good, or whatever it is, whatever that product is, so that if you buy that, you're creating a job, you're helping California, you're helping the United States. And let me see. Oh, and at the end, we sort of went around and asked everyone if there was one thing they thought we should do, to build infrastructure or, further this issue along. And I would say that the one issue, and it's been brought up in almost every group, is permit streamlining. I think there's a big frustration that there's just way too much to do. It's not easy enough for businesses to do business here in California, and what can we do to make it easier for them? We did talk about the state has just finished their statewide anaerobic digestion EIR. Maybe they can do that for other types of businesses and then get into changing the zoning. But again, permit streamlining was one of the biggest things that we talked about. And I think they concluded with talking about if we just enforce and educate, that'll help us. That was it.
Thank you. A good model to look at, San Joaquin County, Dave Lewis, raise your hand. He's the director of purchasing, and they have a green committee working with all the different departments, looking at purchasing green products at every chance they get. Matter of fact, if they, I'll give you his phone number. You can give him a call. I'll email everybody how to get in contact with your email, because he has a very good policy in place. The Board of Supervisors is very supportive here in San Joaquin County to make that happen. I want to thank our volunteers from the California Association of Local Economic Development. Give them a round of applause. Rachel, they came in and they did a great job today. They did a great job that I didn't even think about, and they knew what to do. So I sincerely want to go buy you a Foster's and a bloomin' onion at the Outback Steakhouse right after this is done. And obviously everyone else who came out today. I'll get back to everybody. I want to thank you very much for being part of the solution. Yes, ma'am. No, thank you. Well, on behalf of the 1,500 members of the Greater Stockton Chamber of Commerce, our board of directors, executive board, and Doug Wilhoit, our CEO, thank you. Because without their support, I'm just your regular public policy director at a Chamber of Commerce. So, thank you. Okay, class dismissed. Thank you, everybody.